I'll open the meeting for, call to order the special council meeting of July 10th, 2023. Sandy, please call the roll.
Gallup.
Here.
Hudson.
Here.
Jaworski.
Here.
Kosky. Here. Saloto.
She's excused, but
Thielman.
Here.
Sandy,
Yes.
did you say my name?
Oh, move on.
Here.
I'm so sorry.
Okay, I'll open the hearing to the public at 7 o'clock. I'll now turn it over to the law director to present the history into the record and swear in any audience members that would like to speak. Go ahead, law director.
Thank you, Council President. So this is the public hearing to discuss the rezoning from residential to business for parcels 29-B-003-D-005-0 and 25-B-003-D-00-006-0. On May 1st, 2023, Joe Bartolone and Chuck Zooks filed application for appearance before the Planning Commission for the rezoning. Bartolone and Zooks appeared before the Planning Commission on May 4th for recommendations. Building Commissioner Sack added an agenda item to the June 1st Planning Commission meeting for a public hearing. Public hearing was called for the Planning Commission on June 1st. Required written notices were sent out to all property owners on May 9th, 2023. Required publication was published twice in the News Herald, May 18th and May 25th, 2023. At the June 1st Planning Commission public hearing, the zoning change was approved by the Planning Commission. This notice was forwarded to Wickliffe City Council. Wickliffe City Council scheduled a public hearing for July 10th, 2023. Notice was published on June 16th and June 23rd, 2023, and the required letter notification was sent to nearby property owners on June 16th, 2023, bringing us to the public hearing before City Council today. So with that being said, that's the history of the application for which Council is considering tonight in the public hearing. Following this hearing, there will be legislation introduced at the following hearing. There'll be 3 readings for that. So for the purposes of the public hearing tonight, this is an opportunity for anyone speaking for or against the proposed zoning change to speak. And because this is a quasi-judicial hearing that could be appealed once a decision is made, there must be a clean record. If it was appealed, that would be the record that would go before the courts for them to make a decision if that was necessary. So for that reason, I will need anybody who's going to be speaking for the rezoning or against the rezoning to please stand.
Hi, my name is Dale Mueller.
Just going to be swearing people in right now. But yes, please stand. So anybody who's going to be speaking tonight at all, for or against, if you can please stand. I'm just going to swear you in. We have to swear in witnesses, and then we'll each individually go forward with those. So all I'm going to do is ask you to raise your right hand, answer the question that I give to you today, and then we can move on from there. Do you solemnly swear that any testimony or information that you give tonight will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Okay. Thank you very much. And I'll turn it back over to Council President. I would say anybody speaking for first, and then
So obviously 2 audience members are wishing to speak. I will let him go first, and I'll let you speak right after that.
Sure. I'm Dale Mueller. My property joins the back of that.
Can you provide your address real quick?
1536 East Vernon Street.
Thank you.
And I back right up to that property. I don't have a problem with what they're doing here. They want to do back there. From what I understand, it's a parking lot only. Now, the question comes in, what are they going to do for fencing? Because we had no idea how big this is going to be. Is it going to be the whole area? Are they going to put a fence around? Are they taking trees down? We have no clue. All we know is it's a parcel that's being sold. The other question comes in you're zoning it for commercial, correct?
Commercial business, yes.
Okay. Is that going to strictly stay as a, per se, parking lot? Or is that going to leave it open to build buildings back there in the future? And if it's going to be like that, could there be a provision put in so the buildings could not be built? Because right now, it's, per se, it's landlocked, other than the property where they bought on 300th Street, where the commercial building is, for their driveway to get in there. Sorry, man. So at that point, they need a if you're gonna put a whole driveway in there, you need a 60-foot lot, I do believe, don't you? To put a full road in, if you're gonna have to access that property, if you're gonna put commercial buildings back there?
Go ahead.
Do you mind if I answer
Sure,
that
go right ahead,
Go ahead.
Councilman.
So, Mr. Mueller, during the planning commission stage of this hearing, planning commission only authorized, they brought a map there. It's a fenced-in 80-space parking lot for employees only. And that is what the planning commission authorized. So going further on, it would take another, they can't build any buildings without any going back to planning commission or zoning for that. It's right now, they requested an 80 spot parking for employees only. And yes, the planning commission, it is going to be a fenced in area.
Okay, and are they gonna fence on the property lines? How are they, where's all?
Well, they'll fence, they're going to be allowed to fence whatever what they own, like you would be able to fence in your own residential property. They brought that plan to the planning commission, and that was already approved through planning if the zoning's been changed. If I'm right, Councilman Dworsky?
Correct, yeah.
And what kind of fences, if they're going to put a fence up, what kind of fence is going to be there? Is it going to be similar to the one they have on the other side, the white plastic fence?
Says white vinyl on here.
White vinyl? Yes.
Yes, it is.
Well,
I'm one of the owners. of-
yeah, he'll be able to answer some of your questions too. He's the owner, he was going to speak as well. So if you want to let him speak, and then you can answer any more questions you can
So
ask.
yes, we are gonna put a nice white fence like across the street at our store.
Okay, are you going to run it right on the property line?
Which I would probably be the nicest thing to do, I would think, you know what I mean? And we'll run it all the way down through the back 4 houses. And I think as it's drawn, we're running it west, but we're not gonna run it on the back side.
On the side where the
The apartment building
where the
is, and
apartment
the
is.
commercial building we butt up against.
Okay. Because I live, I'm one of the 2 houses, I'm the second house.
I got you.
Okay, and I mean, if you gotta take the tree down, it is what it is, because it is on your property.
Correct.
And I don't have a problem with any of that. That's fine with me. And I understand, I mean, this is progress, but I just wanna make sure.
No buildings are gonna go on there, no building. So what we're trying to do is solidify our parking, so our employees park across the street.
Sure.
God forbid that property sells across the street, and the new owner says, you're out, we have nowhere to go. Now I gotta put 50 or 60 cars in my store, sort of.
Yeah. No, I don't have a problem with what you want to do back there. I just, we have got no idea what you're doing because it's never come around. We've never got a map, never got anything to show what was being done back there other than you're going to put a parking lot there. See that? And so I got to ask questions when we butt up against it, and my backyard is right there.
So that's exactly why we understand. Let's already have the hearing so you can ask your questions, get your questions answered.
I
No problem with that.
appreciate the time. Thank you very
Absolutely.
much for your information that you gave me.
Is there anything more?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anything more you wanted to share?
Yes.
Is there anything more you wanted to share?
Well, basically, we're gonna do a very clean, neat, whatever the city needs done, we will follow all the guidelines. But all we're trying to do truthfully is solidify parking so we can control our own destiny. That's all. And with the building, nothing right now, truly nothing. Yeah, right, nothing. And it probably won't happen for 2-3 years. There's a person in there that we had to take on, that was already renting.
Right.
Not the gym, but
Right,
there's a lady
yeah,
that's.
Jim's gone.
The gym is gone, so we own that. But right now, I thought, we were gonna ask, and I'll say it out loud, we were gonna put an addition on the building before we did this, but
Gotta do what you gotta do.
first things first, let's solidify my parking, because if I put on an addition and then I lose my parking, now what was the addition for? It was in vain.
Yeah.
So that's all we're trying to do, is just put up parking and,
I'm comfortable with what you want to do. I mean, it's progress. You got to move forward in
We've
the
been
city.
blessed
There's a
with
lot of
this
things
city.
going on. As long as you've done a class act with building sweepers, the way you have.
Thank you.
So I figured this is going to be very much
Same
the
way.
same way. So,
And, you know, we got drainage, you don't have to worry about water. They've discussed the water with us, how the drainage, it'll all go to a retention thing, and then
Because
out.
I know along my property line, the way it's actually kind of grooved there, it was a natural water run. You know,
Right.
So from that field.
So, you know, Polaris Engineering has gone over with their engineering, the city engineering, and we're gonna abide by whatever they tell us to do.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Well,
Okay. Go ahead, Tom.
Oh, has it been determined if there'll be lighting in the parking lot, or?
So, the planning commission, when we had we made the approval for site plan, the first point in that was the building commissioner and city engineer will be looking at a light plan showing the photometric lighting provided by the applicant to ensure that there's no lighting on neighboring properties.
So there is lighting?
There will be
Right,
lighting,
it's
yes.
shielded.
Yeah, and as we understand it, it's only going to be at certain periods of the time. It will not be all night because there are not going to be cars there parked all night. Basically, just enough so that the employees have safe, the ability to walk into and out of the parking lot in not a pitch black area.
Sherry?
I'd like to know, is there going to be any kind of gate to prevent, like, high school kids or somebody, like, monkeying around back there after hours when you're not there anymore?
well, there's
Or
probably, you know, I would say there's no gate fenced in, and I think the fence will run to the current fence that's back there. So it's gonna be totally fenced in to a certain
Yeah,
degree.
well, I'm just saying because it's sort of it'll be a secluded,
I'll just put a camera up in my garage. I can see the whole
all
place.
right. Dan's got it, all right.
Anything else? Anybody else from council? Have anything else?
One of the-
Go ahead,
I
sir.
can't remember what I was just going to say. Took my train of thought away from me.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, David? Okay. All right, then we'll mark this audience participation closed at 7:12. I'll entertain a motion to authorize the law director to create legislation.
Second?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Jaworski, second by Councilman Garrett Stein to authorize the law director to create legislation to rezone parcels 29-B-003-D-005-0 and 25-B-003-D-00-006-0 from residential to business. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Allen.
Yes.
Gerhardson.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Kowski.
Yes.
Levon.
Yes.
Thielman.
Yes.
Entertain a motion for adjournment.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Wait, Pete had something?
Could I mention one thing? Those are the rear yards of those parcels. Now, because there was a lot split and a consolidation, those parcel numbers may not be accurate anymore. If you'd like, I'll double check the numbers and I'll
Shoot
give
them to me so I can.
Yes.
make a
Okay.
note.
because now that they did, they split up the front end of those lots.
Pete, I believe that parcel now is parcel off of 300th Street at the 5th.
Right,
On
it's added to
the
the-
website, I believe that all.
Is it all the same? It
Yes,
may
it's
be-
on the website, it's all one parcel.
Okay, then it would
It's
just.
a
be
300
one
parcel.
Yeah,
Okay, so
I'll
just-
double check it though on GIS.
That's where I got that picture from. It's all one picture on 300.
Yeah, and I'll make sure it says parcel number, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
previously known as the two.
Right.
Okay, and is there a second to the motion for adjournment?
Second.
Moved by Councilman Garrett Stein, second by Councilman Thielman to adjourn the meeting. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Allen.
Yes.
Gerhardson.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Kowski. Levon.
Yes.
Thielman.
Yes.